Hello and welcome to Fork in the Road podcast. You know, about that place between starving and thriving artists. What lies in between there? How do you become a thriving artist? Who knows? I don't know, but I'm going to talk to a whole bunch of artists on Instagram, see if they know. So today I'm talking with Lily from Patattoune. I think if that's pronounced correctly. Welcome to the podcast and live.
Thank you for having me.
Did I get that correct? Patattoune?
Patattoune. It's a French pun. Sorry.
Okay, and what's the meaning of all that, and where does that come from?
Well, I would say it's a combination between two French words, which would be patate, which is a slang word for potato.
Yeah.
And pat, which means paw. So, yeah, trying to have fun with words here.
Or as in like a cat paw.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Nice, because I notice a lot of cat themes running throughout your artwork. So
yeah, guilty.
So for the people listening on the podcast, can you first of all give everyone your handle on Instagram so they can look up your Instagram while they're listening to the podcast, and then kind of go into describing kind of how you would describe your artwork.
Okay, so my handle is at Patattoune, Patattoune. I know it's long. And how would I describe my art? Well, I kind of do whatever I feel like doing, if it makes any sense. So it's mainly illustrations of things that are in my head, or I just use my Instagram as a kind of a sketchbook. So it's just, Yeah.
In terms of that process of things that come to mind, is there any particular way that any particular place or environment where you get inspired to create your work?
Mainly Instagram as well, because there are so many artists on that platform. It's very difficult to not feel inspired by others. Then I would say probably real life. Things you hear, things you see, things you feel. And then probably movies or YouTube content that I can watch, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you create your work? Is it digital or is it a traditional style? I found it hard to tell by looking.
Yeah, because my Instagram is such like a dump of ideas. I use both. It depends on the period and my mood. So I work a lot with computers. So at the end of the day, usually I don't feel like putting myself into another screen. So I like to use traditional techniques, which relaxes me and I feel like in my space. And otherwise, for client works or for things that I sell, I will use digital because it's more easy to produce faster. Also, you can correct mistakes more easily, obviously, and amend as per client's requests. So I would say it's a mix between the two. It depends if it's personal or client oriented, I would say.
Yeah, okay, That's interesting. I found one thing when I was doing illustrating the kids' book is I only just recently started using Procreate and on an iPad, and there were certain things like drawing characters. I found because I wasn't used to it. I found it impossible to do on the iPad. I had to sketch it first and then go over with a digital pen after that. Have you got similar things like that?
Not always, but yes, it does happen where technology has its limits, I would say. So what I do is using a sketchbook near me, draft my idea, and then try to translate it into the digital medium. Not always successfully, I would say. I'm not always very happy with the outcome because it lacks, even though you have a lot of textured brushes, you can do a lot of things with Procreate. It's still missing something from the traditional, I would say, yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's weird for me. It almost feels like I'm using a different part of my brain. It,
exactly, same,
it,
same.
it's kind of weird, yeah. Well, people on the stream have got Prince of Cavern. Hi, how you going? Do you guys use Pinterest at all? Curious. Do you use Pinterest? I don't.
I do actually, it depends, for references mainly. So I would, references or mood boards, I would say. So I would use it for landscapes or buildings, stuff like that. Maybe sometimes color palettes. Um, and yeah, general ideas, I would say, if I'm feeling
Yeah,
stuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And with Instagram, you're saying you take a lot of inspiration from Instagram. Do you ever feel like, because I feel it's a bit of a double-edged sword, you can either go, oh my God, I'm never going to be as good as these people,
Yeah.
or would you be inspired going, I want to be as good as that? Kind of, how do your moods work through scrolling the Instagram feed? I suppose.
Mm, uh, Hard question. I think it depends on my well-being, I would say. If I spend too much time on Instagram, then I notice I tend to feel quite sad and starting to compare myself to others, which is never really, I would say, stable. It's not very good for you. If I just spend a little amount of time on it, then it's good. So it's a balance. Of course, you don't want to spend too much time on socials. I think in general, it's not very good for you. So yeah, trying to find a balance to not feel overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming. But apparently I have heard in terms of Pinterest is a lot of people call it another, like YouTube is a search engine and Google is a search engine. It actually turns out that Pinterest is a search engine as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that might be a way to kind of get discovered if you're showing techniques or something like that, step-by-step techniques as a thing on Pinterest. So that's what I've heard anyway.
You
um,
might want to try it.
yeah, maybe I should. So in terms of your Instagram links out to your Etsy store, I
Yes.
don't know anything about Etsy. I would love to know what are the things you love about Etsy and what are the things you don't love so much about Etsy.
Well, I do like Etsy for its visibility, I would say, because it's such a gigantic marketplace. If you manage to get your SEOs right, and I'm still struggling with that, you can get a lot of exposure. Of course, whenever I make a sale, I'm feeling super proud of myself, very excited, very happy that someone wants to buy something that I made. It's a very, very, very nice feeling. So, yeah. Dislikes, dislikes. I would say probably how the website take advantages of artisans or artists in general by progressively over the years increasing their fees on every time you sell something. So though I would love to go outside of Etsy and have my own shop where 100% of the income that I make from my postcards, my stickers would be for me. It's very difficult because lack of exposure. I think I need a platform still at this stage of my career. So pros and cons. It's good and also it's kind of a bummer every time I see the invoices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in terms of because I'm having things like I've just started up a Redbubble thing, and people talk about SEO. How does SEO work in Redbubble? Do you type in keywords? Do you have to make sure your description is fine-tuned? How do you make SEO work for Etsy?
I think like every other marketplace, you need to have a good title, preferably a short one that can be very visible also on Google because it's linked to Google Shops, if I'm correct.
Okay, yeah.
Then it's all about the description. It needs to be accurate, not too long because people don't like to read too much. And then, yes, it's the hashtags, as always. You have to find the good keywords for people to find you.
Okay. So some
Yeah,
is hashtag based, is it?
yes, like Instagram is the same
Yeah,
thing. You have to
yeah,
find the good keywords, and I find it quite tricky. I'm not very good at this.
yeah. No, no, me either. And one thing I've noticed on Instagram lately as well, I've heard from a few of the Instagram gurus, is because they used to say 30 hashtags on your photo. Now they say between 3 and 5, and to have them really focused on exactly what the picture or video or whatever is. They don't want it like hashtag blessed or hashtag sunny day or something like that. But they want it to be more specific because they're wanting to turn it into a bit more, to optimize their search a bit better, because Instagram has never really been that good for searching for things, you know.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
your work that you're creating, the stickers, the postcards, calendars, um, who are making those? Do you go to printers? Is there someone through Etsy that makes them? How does that work?
I tried a bunch of different things and I could make them myself very easily. The problem is the quality of my printer is not the best, I would say. So I don't want to sell any products that I'm not 100% behind. So I'm using a third party who is a print shop, a professional print shop, to print them, and then I will send them to the clients. I
Okay,
have to
so
use it, yeah, to
so
be,
that print shop is local, and you keep the stock in your house, and then you send it from there.
yes, exactly, yes.
Okay, yeah. And how would you say that your time is balanced between promoting, sending stuff out, doing all the business side of things, taxes? I don't know. Do you do taxes in Sweden?
Yes.
um, and how much time is actually like? Can you do a pie chart in your head quickly and go, are you 50-50 business art, or is it like, what are we looking like?
Oof. I just recently went from part-time to full-time freelancer. So I'm still trying to juggle my daily life. So I would say no days are like the other. It really depends on what's on my plate at the moment, and I have to find kind of a balance between the administrative part of the business, the actual art, then my personal life, which I'm still struggling to find kind of a balance. So I would say, it, maybe 50% of the time on the laptop doing administrative, not very artsy things, then 25 doing the art, and the rest is for me. I need some me
Yeah.
time as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And is your marketing and promotion primarily on Etsy and Instagram? Is there anywhere else that you're getting your work out there?
Right now, yes, primarily on these two platforms. I try to use Twitter and Facebook. Facebook, I don't really like the platform. I don't feel it's very user-friendly like at the beginning of it.
They want your money, but Instagram is Facebook as well, so
It's
they want your
Facebook.
money as well.
Yeah, now you can see the shift, huh? How
Yeah,
it works and how the algorithm is choosing one piece over another. It's quite interesting.
yeah,
And Twitter, love-hate relationship, I would say. I'm not a good writer, so I don't feel like I have anything of value to say. So I'm not very comfortable using that platform yet. Maybe in the future, we'll
yeah.
see.
Yeah, I found Twitter is mainly for me a good place to connect with other artists and kind of join in on their conversations. I know it feels weird at first, just like, you know, they might barely know who you are, but kind of like put your 2 cents worth in the comments and, you know, start up a conversation. So, I mean, it's funny because I used to use Twitter when I had a business, and I would
Hmm.
just kind of blast stuff out promoting it to
Yeah.
nobody. Uh, but it's not until you actually start to engage with other
Yeah.
people on Twitter, you know, be social on social media,
Mm.
that's actually a valuable thing. And I find what's made a difference for me as well is having a podcast and a vlog and all this kind of stuff, because then that gives me incentive to reach out to people like you, learn from people like you and everyone else, and kind of like open up a dialogue between everybody. So
Yeah, connect.
yeah,
Connection is important. Yes,
I
yes.
think that's probably one of the best things that have come out of doing a podcast, is kind of like doing the interviews. So that's why I kind of want to do more interviews like that.
I heard some of your previous ones, and they were super interesting as well. It's really nice to see the perspective of other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really want to focus on, a lot of people focus, because I didn't go to art school, and a lot of people focus on the art, which is great, but that's kind of not the angle I want to come from, because I know there's so many people that do their art as a hobby, and some of these people are absolutely amazing. They're brilliant, and why they're not doing it full time as a job is mind blowing. It's those steps, like treating it like a business and the promotion and all that kind of stuff. And artists hate promoting themselves because
Yes,
it's them. They're putting themselves, they're exposing themselves to the
I can
world.
relate.
Do
I
you
can
have any
relate.
issues promoting yourself?
I do. It's very, very difficult for me to go out of my comfort zone, try to reach people, put myself out there. Like you said, you feel a bit naked. So I'm trying to do it more. I'm very glad to be here with you today. But obviously, it's out of my comfort zone. I prefer to just draw, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've, and you do commissions, I believe, commissions, collaborations, as well as selling the postcard stickers and calendars on Etsy. Are there any kind of other income streams that you have, that you're working on?
Right now, something that has nothing to do with art in general. I just started a job as a community manager for 3 entities. I just started, so I'm still new at it, still dipping my toes everywhere. So I don't quite know yet how I feel about it, but it's a little income stream. I learn a lot in the process, so it's also very interesting. And as you said, it helps me see things from a business point of view, which I think is very hard for me. So all in all, it's a nice rounded package, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Have you checked out many art TikToks?
Yes, I would say I'm addicted to TikTok.
So if you're addicted to it, that must mean that it's a great platform that you should be on, probably. I don't know.
Right now, it's the platform you should be on. I put out not many videos, but mostly goofy things that I made, and I got so much traction for it. It was incredible, and it was overnight. And even the videos you make that aren't doing very well, it's still much more than Instagram or YouTube. I feel like everyone is on this platform right now. And I don't know how the algorithm works, but it's very easy to have people watch your content. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I've found like, because I don't seem to have much time to create, to use all the tools within TikTok and make one of those really amazing videos. But what I've tended to do is just put a time lapse of the artwork up, and just a time lapse. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Time lapse for some of their music, and that can get quite a lot of views, which can hopefully lead back somewhere else, because in TikTok you can link to your Instagram account and also to your YouTube account. So that there is that possibility to link out of TikTok, and had some quite big views on there. But also recently here on Instagram Reels, I've been getting, 50, 100 or whatever. But just not my most recent vlog, the vlog before that, I got like 3,500, and it just like it went up within the space of about an hour, and then it just stopped. Like they turned the taps off or something. I go, this guy's had enough. We're just. So if you make a TikTok, I definitely recommend putting it on Reels as well.
Yeah, I will try to do that as well. As you said, it's as long as it's visual content, you can do whatever. It will get views. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, and in terms of like, because I know on TikTok they have something like drawing your style challenges, and I noticed you do that kind of thing. And I also noticed you did Peachtober. Do you want to tell everyone about Peachtober?
Peachtober. It was a contest during Inktober. I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah, I have heard of Inktober, yeah.
One of those Inktober contests or challenge. I try to do it every year, not the Peachtober, but the Inktober in general, because I like the draw this in your style. I find it very funny, refreshing. You don't have any pressure to do a perfect job. The point is to make art and to increment it into your daily life. And after each year, after the challenge, I find so inspired and just feeling refreshed. Of course, it's hard work. Of course, it's on top of everything. But the outcome for you as a person, it's everything. It's everything you want. Yeah.
And so for every day of October, are you doing a full, complete digital illustration?
Not this year, unfortunately. I had too much work to do that. But I remember 2 years ago, I managed to do the whole challenge, and to draw every day for 31 days.
Wow.
I was tired at the end of it, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I learned so much, and I progressed so much. And you choose a medium, whatever you want. Maybe something you never used before, watercolors or pencils or digital, if you're not feeling comfortable. And you just do it, and you will see results. At the end of the month, you will not be at the same point that you were at the first day.
Mm.
So yeah,
Do you
very good challenge.
do you find it's a good thing? Because I found when I was doing it, I was doing a daily vlog, trying to upload something for the kids' book every day. I find when you have that deadline, because I think the enemy of a lot of artists is perfection.
Yep.
So you get to. I know if you've seen the work of Beeple, the digital artist Beeple.
No.
He recently sold all his. He created a digital, like a fantasy or kind of funny kind of digital work, and he put on Instagram every day. And I'm gonna muck this up, but he got millions and millions of dollars for selling it as a digital NFT.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, but he gives himself that deadline every night. Like he has to be finished by midnight, and it's
Yeah.
just like, you know, even if it's not, he knows it can be better. It's done. It's out. He forgets about it completely. He's on to the next one, and I think that's probably a good muscle to kind of be working on as an artist, to just go, yep, it's done, move on.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it at that kind of pace, you know, you're bound to just get amazingly better at it anyway, and learn the tools. Because another thing with me is like, because I just started on Procreate, and I was doing live streams with the author, and as soon as there was something I didn't know how to do, I'd write it down, look up the video, learn it, and then go back, because my old technique was just to fluff around on it.
Completely different. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because you want to progress and when you want to get better. So I think that's a good technique for getting better. Although you're going to burn out. How do you know when you're burning out?
For me, it would be if I'm doing anything too quickly, then it means I'm panicking. And why am I panicking if I'm not burned out?
Yeah,
So no one is pointing a gun at my head, so why am I panicking? That for me is a sign that I need to take a little bit of time out of everything, refresh my mind. Obviously, if you don't want to arrive at this point, you have to give yourself some time for you. Otherwise, and outside of everything, do something completely different. See people outside, go see a play if you can, because
yeah,
these times it's very difficult. Go for a walk, do something completely different. First is very good for inspiration, because you cannot create out of a dried mind. If you're burned out, you burned everything in your mind as well. You can't create good things if it comes out of a place of nothing. There's nothing
yeah,
in your head. Yeah,
there's,
so you have to continuously give yourself as well, I think, in order to give others something.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's quite tricky. I'm sometimes I don't very I'm not very successful with that.
yeah.
Depends. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know I noticed. I think it might have been your most recent post. You're saying because you do a lot of cards and calendars and stuff like this time of the year. Are you even doing any art, or are you just shipping stuff out?
I'm doing a lot of things. I'm shipping stuff out. I'm doing a lot of art because I have commissions deadlines as well, end of the year.
Everyone wants everything by Christmas.
Oh, why? But that means after Christmas you get to have a nice little time for yourself as well. So
Yeah,
this and of course the new community manager thingy. So it's a lot of different um, kind of ventures all at once, and I'm still struggling to find a good work and playtime. So yeah, it's challenging. I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and you've become, so you're saying now your work, so your work is that plus your work on it, Instagram and Etsy. What would you, we talked a bit about SEO on Etsy. What kind of Instagram tips have you found which is quite helpful?
Hmm. I would say the challenges, the monthly challenges or weekly challenges, the contests like draw this in your style, things like that. Like if you engage with people, people will engage with you. Whereas when I just post things that are out of my head because I need to share it with people, I found, I don't know, the investment from the public was kind of lacking. So in comparison, of course, we're comparing. But yeah, so I would say participating in challenges will help you gain visibility. Of course, we talked about keywords, using the correct keywords, matching your content, and then interacting, simply interacting with people. It's a social platform. So if you put art out there and expect people to rave about it without engaging yourself with people, it will not happen. You have to be fully committed to the platform and post regularly.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I definitely hear all the time. I did a survey on Twitter a while back, saying what do you think makes a thriving or successful artist? And I put down a few things like skill set, mindset, community, business skills, a few things like that. What do you think is the number one contributor to an artist being successful or thriving if you had to choose?
What a tricky question. I would respond that it's important for you to love what you do, because if you're not, then you won't put as much work. Your mindset will not be that great. You will end your career very shortly in comparison if you only do stuff for the market or for people pleasing content. You will lose yourself. You have to ask yourself why you're doing things. Do you love what you're doing? And if you have the answer of both questions, I think you can be a successful, a thriving artist, because you will have the skill sets with time. You will have it. The
Yeah,
mindset, if you love what you're doing, it's always going to be there.
yeah,
So, yeah, all these things are down to, do you love what you're doing?
yeah.
And keep loving what you're doing. And if you're not, change something. Yeah.
I think that's the best answer so far. Like,
Oh,
it's like, when and it's funny. It's not until you actually said it that it brought on new meaning to me. Like, because I've often heard people, "Oh, do what you love, and the money will come, and all this will come, and all that." And I kind of think that's bullshit.
I
because
can understand that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
because like sometimes, like I used to run I used to run a outdoor cinema, and I had shows where I'd put on movies which I loved, which I thought were great movies. No one would bloody come, and and then like people would hire me to screen films that they love, and lots of people would come. So in that sense, do what you love, and the money will follow. Doesn't work, but I think, but what you're saying there, it feels true. It feels right to me that yes, like with the art side of things, creating your art, because it gives you the drive
On the long run, because
Yeah,
I can understand where you're coming from. Before doing this full time, I was working in a bank, 9 to 5, and it was very money oriented.
yeah,
So it's not that it was a waste of time, but I did it for the money. Of course, I made friends along the way, but that's not the point. I was doing it for the money. So if you're working on a cinema project, of course, the things you would love don't necessarily match what the people would expect to see, and that's because I don't know how to explain it, but you're not really you want short-term outcomes, money outcomes from it. It's quite a different goal than if you want to be a thriving artist. You're not doing art for the
yeah,
money.
yeah. And
Otherwise, you wouldn't have picked up art as a career.
yeah,
I
and
would
and
think.
and a lot of people would argue that being thriving or successful's got nothing to do with money, because money doesn't make you happy.
Exactly.
Just ask a rich person; they'll tell you. But I'd like to know for myself.
Well, if you need money, there is other ways to gain some.
Yeah,
But I feel like if you're loving what you're doing most of the time, like really loving, not just liking it, if you're
yeah,
really into it, you will feel within yourself more sustained than the contrary. So you can always make money. You can always find money if you're looking for it.
mm.
If
and
you're
and
not, yeah.
yeah, sorry, and I found another thing from art as well is that um, it really recharges me in terms of mental health as well. Like I
Yeah.
feel really good when I've created something within myself. I don't need
Mhm.
someone to say, "Oh, nice job, you did a good job there." I feel good myself. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. It's within yourself.
yeah,
You don't need external validation,
yeah,
money-wise or people-pleasing or whatever. If you can
yeah,
feel that thing within you, I feel like at the end of your life you will feel more accomplished than if you did a job only for the money with no heart in it. Of course, you will be very wealthy and very comfortable. I'm not denying that. Money is a source of comfort, and you need a roof and food. That's very important things to be happy. But if you have the minimum, I would say, and you feel good within you, at the end of your life, you will feel more accomplished than doing something that is meaningless for you, but
yeah,
you're in a very nice mansion with silky sheets.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you'll have fond memories of what you did, but you'll have no memory or recollection of what numbers you had in your bank account. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.